It's about Tessa Blanchard. Joshua Weekly writes in and says, what's your take on Tessa Blanchard possibly challenging for the heavyweight championship? She's one of the main reasons I watch Impact. If you're not totally familiar, Arn, the gist is it looks like she's headed for a title shot, and a lot of people believe she's going to win the big belt, the actual main event world title, not the women's belt, but the men's belt. And I guess you wouldn't be able to call it that anymore because Tessa would have it. What do you think about one of the ladies winning the big belt?
Well, I'm a huge fan of women and what they've achieved in wrestling today. I have a running joke with my wife. You know, if you'd have told me 20 years ago that a woman was going to be a better worker than I was, I'd laughed in your face. Now, they're all better than I was. And I'm the first to admit it. I do have, I'm not going to say problem or issue, or I'm just a little bit suspect on what my feelings are about women fighting men on a level that's equal, level ground, equal footing. I just don't think that it's probably credible, believable, or do I want to see a guy clotheslining a woman's head off or punching her in the mouth? You can get away, and you've always been able to get away with women being involved in matches. And as long as it stays something cute and something that I'm going to buy, let me just ask who their champion is right now that Tessa would be challenging.
Sami Callihan, and they actually main evented a pay-per-view a couple of months ago. It was a very good match, but I could see how if you were a traditionalist, it may have been a little challenging to watch, you know, a man wrestle a woman, but I thought they told a great story. Ultimately, she did not get her hand raised. Sami won that match, but it was much more competitive than maybe you would have imagined a generation ago.
I would have to see it and break it down in my head, and as a human being first, see if I'm going to buy any of that, because it's hard to become a wrestling fan unless you have a working knowledge of what you're looking at, you know, as that fan who goes, well, okay, I'll buy that. She outmaneuvered him a little bit. But when it gets to the point of where a woman is just steamrolling a man, and you know she's not as strong, you know she's not as fast, you know she's not as tough, and you're trying to push that envelope a little further than it should be pushed, to where it's not she's outmaneuvering him and she slapped him in the face, which caused him to chase her, and as she rolls back in the ring and he rolls in behind her, she takes advantage of a situation. All plausible things that could happen. But like I said, I would have to see the match and just see, is she just mowing this guy down? Because I've heard, you know, I don't know Sami personally, but I've heard he's a pretty tough kid. I've seen him wrestle a few times on TV, and he beats his own body up pretty good. So I imagine he is a tough kid. I'm not sold on that being a 50-50 situation where all things are equal. Tessa beats Sami Callihan straight up. I don't know, but certainly women have evolved and made themselves a huge commodity in this industry. You know, you look at Becky and Sasha and Charlotte Flair and Nia Jax and, you know, Natty. And I'm a huge Beth Phoenix fan from back in the day. Beth was a badass before badasses were popular, you know. Beth was the original badass. I go all the way back to Jackie. And, you know, there's been a lot of tough ladies come along who've paved the way, you know, China, for the girls who have taken the slack, picked it up, and put them at a new level performance-wise. And on any given night, any of those combination of ladies can steal the show.